Welcome back to 2Player Co-op. I'm Damo, this is Dan. Talk about hard hitting, we're talking about Hardhome. Today's going to be all about Game of Thrones, Episode 8, Season 5. This is Episode 4, Season 1. There's parallels to be drawn everywhere. Dan, are we pumped to be talking about Hardhome?
Oh, I'm pumped. No,
Hughley,
I'm super pumped.
He's playing it cool, he's playing it cool.
Because I normally say, oh, we're excited, but I feel like I say the same thing every time.
Oh, you do!
Because of the energy you bring.
No,
the energy.
it's great. Seriously, before we get into the episode proper, this has got to be the biggest, best episode of the season so far.
Oh my god, definitely. I feel like because the season's so before we get into it, this is gonna. If you haven't watched episode 8 of Game of Thrones yet,
spoiler the hell alert.
Go and watch it and then come back here.
Yep.
Or if you don't want to watch it, stay here.
Because we're going to be covering it right now here on 2Player Co-op. Thanks for joining us. We're going to kick into it right now.
Okay, so definitely one of the biggest episodes of the season. In fact, because I sort of thought this season has been going. I've enjoyed it, but like it's sort of been slow building, and it's like this episode was just like bam, we're in.
This episode was big budget, big production effects, big scale, and you know the weather, because these guys aren't sitting in a green room with fake snow being put into a green screen behind them. These guys are out there in I think it's Iceland or Norway or wherever it is, and Ireland for the bush scenes and like the lush green forest.
That's right.
But these guys are doing it real, and the whole the production value on that is huge.
Oh, definitely.
So where do we start? So first of all, let's start chronologically. So I think a really great conversation between Tyrion and Daenerys.
Exactly. So finally we had that. I actually really enjoyed it. They sped the storyline up a little bit, and finally we've got Daenerys and Tyrion actually having a heart to heart, I guess, and
moving that whole Daenerys Targaryen storyline forward. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. And I love this. Is the great scene where Daenerys and Tyrion are sitting down, basically talking about their dad problems, their family problems,
Daddy issues,
and why I should be your advisor, and a little bit of sort of power play and some recommendations.
And maybe don't cut my head off.
And you know, Daenerys was like, she's had a really sort of staunch queen face on. Whereas Tyrion's just like, this is my game, like this is what I do.
I feel Tyrion was a little bit like devil may care. Look, I've been through worse. If you cut my head off, that's not the worst thing that could happen to me right now. But you know what? I'm here for good reasons. I'm here. I know I'm here because a guy that I trust and respect said that you're worth following. And so for me, if you cut my head off, that probably means you're not worth following.
That's right. Exactly.
And you know, if you're the right leader, the right ruler to bring together Westeros and bring Westeros into a better age, then you'll recognise the value that I can add.
Exactly. And like I love it as well. Where Tyrion's like, why do you want the Iron Throne? Like, you've got it all. Like, why do you want it? Like, who are your followers over there? Like, what are you gonna do when you get there? And like the Iron Throne, obviously, just like. Obviously, that's what it's all about. It creates that obsession. Like, you've got to have it. You've got, like, it's rightfully mine.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people vying for the Iron Throne, and you know, it's kind of like that. I don't know, some sort of a flame, moth to a flame.
Exactly.
You know, claimants will be clamouring for it. I think the thing I really liked about the Daenerys and Tyrion conversation was, like, it was witty back and forth. There was a lot of really cool exchanges between the two, and it just, for the love of God, it's progressing the storyline in Marine.
That's right.
She's been the whole season. They've been stuck in Marine.
Like, they've been there for years, seasons,
ages
like,
and
what
ages.
What are you doing?
I was getting really, really bored. I mean, look, there's some big things here in Marine. You know, Barristan Selmy, Barristan the Bold died, and yeah, that was pretty tragic.
She freed all the slaves. It's kind of just so what? Like, it's so what? And there's so much other stuff going on back in Westeros. Like, who actually cares?
I know. You've got a kick-ass army, 3 dragons, and a motivation. What the hell are you doing stuck in Marine?
Yeah.
But I guess from her point of view, like, I mean, they're trying to sell it around this, like, if I freed a slave, they're never going to go back into slavery, and so she's like trying to consolidate. But for the love of God, I guess, you know, that sort of stuck the storyline.
Yeah.
For a while, stuck in the mud, I guess. And for me, this is kind of exciting because I see it moving forward.
So there's one other part to, I guess, that part of the story which I'm interested in your thoughts on. So obviously, Daenerys exiled Jorah Mormont again, like decided not to kill him, but get out of here basically, take him to the city limits.
Take him away.
Like, where do you think that's all going? Like, and so instantly Jorah's like, he's back to the fighting pits, and I want to fight, basically in front of the queen. Like what? Why? Like, what's he gonna achieve?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's linked to the grayscale. When he got banished, basically, he looked at his wrist and he's got the grayscale on his wrist. He went back to the guy who originally bought him and bought him as a gladiator, I guess.
Yeah.
And said, pretty much threw some money at him and said, I'm going to win. I'm going to be fighting in front of the queen. So maybe it's a little bit of a hell hath no fury, like a Sir Jorah Spoon.
I guess too, like he's, because only just recently he only just found out that his dad died. Like he's probably kind of like, not that he probably would have gone back, but there's even less reason or place. Like, why would he go back to Westeros? Like, he's not wanted.
So he's definitely not going back to Westeros as some sort of returning knight, pardoned and to claim his lands. So it's either going to be a case of screw you, Daenerys. Maybe I was in love with you and I've been spurned and I'm turning against you now, or it's kind of like I'm just going to basically sort of suicide by gladiator in front of you to prove my love, or to at least go out by the sword rather than a slow, much more less honourable death by grayscale.
I don't want to hang too much on the Jorah Mormont, even though I do like him as a character, but I find it weird that he's still getting airtime as a character when there's so many other people.
There's got to be something in store.
There must be some other big thing to kind of bring it all together.
Yeah, I mean, so George R. Martin is renowned for killing people in the books. And I feel like and this is something that's going in my head, is like if the writers of the TV show wanted to continue that happy tradition of killing people and shocking fans, Jorah is a good candidate. Am I right? Or am I right?
You're probably right. Like, he's an easy kill. Like, like you could kill him. It'd be a bit of shock value, but like you're not gonna.
I think he's an easier kill than Barristan Selmy. I was a little bit like, what?
Yeah. Well, he's got it coming with his grayscale anyway. But anyway, that's probably enough about Jorah Mormont. Like, there's much bigger things that happen in this season. Oh, this episode. Look,
this episode wasn't called the Battle of Hardhome for no reason.
I guess do we want to touch on our oyster cellar?
Oh right, yeah,
Look,
let's leave the best for last. So Arya Stark.
Yeah.
She's starting her journey down with the Faceless Men, right?
Yeah, that's right. So got her first mission, her first quest as such. Get some information. Give her a little vial of poison. A
girl turns right instead of left at the end of the street. So the skinny man, she's selling oysters, cockles and clams and all that kind of stuff. So she's starting to go down that path of training to be one of the Faceless Men. I mean, look, it was good. It was interesting. It was good to see that storyline being advanced.
She's another character though where like you want great things to happen to her, and she's going to be you think she's going to be a bit of a juggernaut as a character. She's going to be taking some
potential badassery, right?
And you kind of want that speed up as well, but at the same time, I guess she has to like put in her time and learn some skills, because at the moment she's still
exactly.
She hasn't got anything, so exactly.
But I am liking Jaqen H'ghar.
He's great.
I like the fact that in the books he doesn't exist in anywhere past sort of Westeros.
That's right,
but in the TV series, the fans loved him so much that they brought him back as the sort of I don't know, what would you call him, the high priest? Like the mentor, the coach guy for the Faceless Men. I really like him being around. I really like where it's going, and what you like. So, look, this is a heavily spoiler alert episode today. But what you don't get in the books, and you don't get yet in this TV series, is any sense of where is this going for Arya. Like, I mean, you can speculate. You can say, oh, she's training to be an assassin. She's going to go kill the world. Like take down the Lannisters or whatever. But even in the books, that's not clear just yet where that's going. And I'm really excited to see
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, the natural next step for her once she finishes her training is she needs like a big takedown kill of like a major character.
A boss fight.
A boss fight. And I think she's going to pull it off with a fatality.
Fatality.
Yeah, but we'll see. And I guess so the other part of the story, which, you know, I wondered going into this episode what was going to happen with Cersei. Like, was she going to get out of the cell this episode? And I was kind of glad she didn't, because it really sort of painted that picture of, actually, no Cersei, you're going to be locked up. Uncle Kevin's back in town. Is it Kevin? Is that his name?
Uncle Kevin's on the way, at least.
Oh, he's on the way.
No, he's back, right? He's back. He's back running the small council.
He's running the small council, and no one's come to get you. Like, no one. Like, and she's saying to the what are the priestess?
Oh, the sisters.
The sisters.
Yep.
Whatever. Basically, she's still convinced that she's going to kill that lady who's, you know, trying to give her water.
And smacking her face around with the water cup thing.
Yeah.
So, prediction for that storyline. Is there going to be the trial before the end of the series? I mean, there's some things that I know around the books, which I think we agreed we're going to be talking about the TV series when we were talking here, so I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'm hoping that it doesn't necessarily have to come to a conclusion by the end of the series, because there's only 2 episodes left, but I would totally understand if it did. So, you know, look, I don't know. I think it's making for a good end of the season. You know, what's going to happen to Cersei? What's going to happen to Marjorie Tyrell? What's going to happen to Loras Tyrell? Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, there's the potential there for a great season finale already.
Oh, definitely. So I guess my question to you is: did you feel sorry for Cersei at any point? Because I said this to my girlfriend. I'm like, I actually felt a bit sorry for her, and my girlfriend was like, "No, like she's a bitch and all the things she's done." But you know, she's an evil character and she's playing the Game of Thrones. But I kind of did feel sorry for her.
I kind of do. Look, I got my heart on my sleeve. Like, I'm an empathetic guy. Like, you know, you got played girl. Yeah. Like the High Sparrow played you.
Yeah.
You put that guy in power, and I kind of hate the High Sparrow and his dudes. Like his douche lord folk.
With his sack clothes.
Yeah, sack with the chains around them. Like, you guys are a bunch of religious fanatics, or just you know, overstepping your boundaries. Like, you don't go after the king. Like,
I think
the king's family and his wife, and like, come on, man.
I think this is what's difficult, and like, again, just sort of read your point, like, we're not comparing this to the book or going into the book spoilers, but one thing the book does do a lot better is it really talks about more the power and the amount of followers that support like the High Sparrow, whereas in the TV series, like, it literally feels like there's 12 misfits that no one seems to be having check, but you know, in the actual
and that is the classic thing between any TV series and a book, is the book has time and page space to be able to build a lot of context and a lot of background and a lot of feeling around these events, which is exactly what we're getting with the High Sparrow and Tommen. You know who I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for Tommen.
Oh yeah, he's like the powerless king.
And he looks like he got a little bit angry in the last episode, or the episode prior, sorry. But you know, generally he looks like an okay kid. You know,
he doesn't look messed up.
He doesn't know his dad is his uncle and his mum. You know, like his mum's brother type thing. You know, he doesn't know that.
No.
He's sort of put in this horrible position, and his mum's machinations have brought all this about.
But I guess, you know, all of this happened. But then there's still the awesomeness of all the stuff that went on with the Night's Watch that I think we need to talk about.
Yeah. Like I said, this episode wasn't called the Hardhome or nothing. Right?
In fact, you could have had none of that other stuff. It just had this.
I totally agree.
Totally agree. Perfect.
Totally, absolutely agree. So Jon Snow's taken off. He's gone. Oh look, you haven't watched it. Get the hell out of here. Stop what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
go watch
you need to watch it.
Yeah. So Jon Snow's gone. He knows that every wildling that falls to the White Walkers is going to be a White Walker or a white. A white.
Yep.
So the official terminology is a white. W-I-G-H-T.
Yeah. A White Walker is a specific being.
Is going to have to be someone that they fight eventually. So he's like heading out to Hardhome, which is where the majority of the wildlings are hanging out at the moment.
And the Fens as well.
And the Fens, yep. A couple of giants as well.
Yeah.
And in an effort to sway them over. And he's gone with Tormund, right?
Exactly. And so but back at Castle Black, there's a number of people who are very unhappy about Jon Snow, obviously, heading out to talk to the wildlings because, you know, the wildlings attacked the wall. They lost a lot of good men. And one person in particular who's very unhappy about Jon Snow going out there is Ollie.
Yeah, the steward, right?
The steward. So his family,
young kid.
His family was killed by some Thenns actually when they attacked the village.
And by Tormund. Tormund was actually there.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure if he swung the axe in particular.
I don't know if he did. Like, I thought it was more the Thenns. I'd have to go back, but
yeah.
Either way, like he's not happy about it.
No.
And so there's a lot of resentment.
Yep. So it's controversial. It's not an easy decision. It's controversial, and by no means is Jon Snow doing this with the full support of his garrison. Right?
Exactly. So anyway, so we get into the village, and you know we see an old character, Lord of Bones, welcomes Jon Snow.
Lord of Bones is back. The guy with the best armor in the series, I reckon.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, but not for long.
Not for long.
So he gets a little bit cocky. Gets a bit smart to Tormund, a big ginger guy with a beard, and who witnessed Mance Rayder being burned at the stake, and Jon Snow killed him. And so he's like, you know, I'll fine, we'll go back to Hardhome with Jon, and we'll convince the wildlings. Anyway, Lord of Bones gets a little bit smart ass to Tormund, and pokes his cudgel or his bloody his mason or something. All of a sudden, Tormund's smashing this guy to pieces.
Sorry, actually not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, like don't disrespect me, baby.
I don't need your shit. There's enough shit going on in the world without you.
Yeah.
So they
summon the elders.
Summon the elders. So the elders come together. Jon Snow presents his case.
Yeah.
He pulls out like, look, everyone, I've brought some sample dragon glass. Would you like to buy into my pyramid scheme? Please kill White Walkers and whites. And what do you guys think?
And look, one of the best lines of the entire season, definitely the episode. Do you trust him? Well, he's prettier than both my daughters, but I trust him.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't that fantastic?
It was awesome. It's such a good line. It's so typical sort of Jon Snow as well. He's always got a bit of his 1D swag on when he's walking around. So anyway, so the council's basically like, do they decide they're going to support or not support? But some of them decide to go, some of them decide
so the Thenns decide, no, we're out.
Yeah, they're out. And so they start shipping all the people out to Stannis' boats, and like, I didn't realise how many boats were there till they sort of like...
It was a lot.
They like swing the camera around. It's not like there's like 3 boats.
Exactly.
A military...
It's a fleet, right? It's a fleet. This is a big operation.
Yeah.
And I was really kind of like, wow, impressed. Like, you know, this is not a small situation that we've got going on here.
Exactly.
And they start evacuating, and like, I was kind of like gutted. Like, there's this really cool wildling chiefess, leader, female leader, who I thought had lots of potential, and I was looking at this chick going, man, I hope she hangs around.
She seems pretty badass. Yeah.
Yeah, she seems pretty badass. She's got a couple. She's got a couple of daughters. She puts the kids on the boat, and they're evacuating Hardhome basically. And the Thenns are like watching, you know, screw you, whatever, we're not going to go. Yeah. You're idiots. They're going to cut your throat as soon as you're on the boat. And then all of a sudden, and I have to say, this is the most eerie and coolest start to a battle. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't underdone.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, it was just right.
It was like a southerly coming through Wellington.
Exactly, like a southerly coming through Wellington. If you ever watched, you know, the clouds come in off the strait down south there. There's this fog, clouds turning up, and there's lots of wildlings out in the plain. And all of a sudden, the ones at the very far back, right off from the horizon, they started running, and everyone's going, "What the hell's going?" And it just gave the sense of panic, this big scale sense of panic.
Oh, it was huge. It was huge, and I just love these sort of moments of silence, and you know, all of a sudden, like those people disappeared, and there's like people running towards the gate and trying to like, you know, smash their way in.
And the Fenn leader, who's the guy like, we're not going with you. He was originally in charge of the gate, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, shut the gate. And he's like,
they shut half the people out.
A couple of thousand wildlings shut out of the gate. Yeah. And I like what you're saying just then around the use of silence. Like, this wasn't overplayed at all, I think. Yeah. This was a perfect, there's a perfect exercise in subtlety around, you know, this battle, the way it started.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about some of the main parts of this battle, because the battle was epic in itself. So first of all, we had the amazing fight with Jon Snow, and I guess like one of the main White Walkers who we've seen a few times before.
Yeah. So there's been two main White Walkers that we've seen, apart from just the guys that've been risen from the dead.
Yeah.
So there's been the guy. You remember at the end of season 4, there was the White Walker who touched the baby and turned that baby
with the blue eyes.
And all that kind of stuff. So I kind of think of him as the king, but his name is
the Night's King, I believe.
The Night's King.
Yeah.
His name is the Night's King. And then there's the guy who's sort of more the operational side of things, you know, the day-to-day management of the White Walker business.
Exactly. Yeah.
I kind of think of as like the general. He's the guy with the beard, and we saw him riding in on a horse. We're at earlier on last season. Yeah. He's the guy that ends up fighting Jon Snow. So
what I love about his fight with Jon Snow is he like. This guy's huge for a start. Yeah. Like he's like probably 6-7 foot tall.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's having a hardcore fight with Jon Snow. He knows he's like you're just that Night's Watch guy, like whatever.
And nothing you've got can touch me.
No weapons can touch me. And then when Jon Snow's obviously got his Valyrian sword.
Well, and it gets knocked out of his hands, remember?
That's right.
So Jon Snow picks up this random sword off the thing, and he's like fighting, completely shatters. So any weapon that touches the spear, basically, this White Walker has, shatters on impact. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he gets hold of Longclaw. Yeah,
gets hold of Longclaw. Their swords meet, and no shattering. And the White Walker's got this like WTF on his face. And next minute, like Jon Snow's like, I've got him, because the guy's still in shock and basically destroys him, like turns him into ice dust. Yeah,
shatters him basically. That was really cool. And I look, and the thing about Game of Thrones, we talked about subtlety before. And I think you and I were talking earlier off camera around like the thing that I really love about Game of Thrones is that all this history, all this legend making is starting to make sense. So we had a conversation around why all the great families had a Valyrian steel sword, and no one really talks about it. No one really knows. Oh, it's just the family sword. Like the family sword for the Starks was ice. You had some really.
So the Lannister one was Bright Raw, but that's Bright lost. Joffrey had one that was Lion's Tooth, I believe, and I think Arya threw that in the river.
Was that
Valyrian? I'm not too sure. When Brienne got given
the ice got broken down.
Given to Brienne. That's Oathkeeper. So many great names for Valyrian steel.
And this whole Valyrian steel thing was like, okay, it's Valyrian steel. I guess it's BFD. I guess it's a bit different to normal steel. Now you're starting to realise like there's some history in this, right? There's some reasons that the great families of Westeros had Valyrian steel. And it's because it's the only steel that can stand up to the White Walkers. Yeah,
exactly. So there's two. So there was that great fight between them. Great fight. So there's a couple of other fight scenes which I also think were magic. So one when the Night's King was still at the top of the cliff, and he basically commands all his whites to like run off the cliff, and they all run off the cliff and fall down like. Ugh. And then there's that sort of moment of silence, like, oh, was that just like a power play to be like, I control these people and I can kill them and do whatever I want. And then they stand up like a
S01.
It's 28-day zombies. Like they're not slow Walking Dead zombies. They're like speed zombies. The worst type of zombies you can get.
Worst type of zombies.
And like then it's like it's on. It's a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. So like that was pretty epic. I think like the Fen that was guarding pretty much or in control of the gate. He had a really cool fight.
A great fight scene.
I mean he died. I think the
what about the giant?
The giant was wicked. He lived, right? So he basically like this is like literally King Kong with bloody gnats.
He's just
crawling over. He's got like a bloody tree trunk or a telephone pole with like swishing people around.
And everyone else in boats going out to sea, and he just like walks in the water like no problem. Yeah.
And unfortunately the girl we were talking about before, the sort of female leader of the wildlings or tribal leader of the wildlings, she came to a grisly end.
So the kids that died were brought back together as whites, and they were in full zombie mode, and she knows she's about to get attacked by.
She's looking at like 5 kids, right? Yeah. And they're just staring at her in various sort of states of dress, and basically.
What is this?
A puffer jacket and jeans. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. I guess the thing that was going through her mind is I can't fight these kids.
I know, because she went
She's
really
like
like
this.
this. So like,
And they attacked her.
They attacked her. I was kind of bummed about that. I was like, she's
I was
awesome.
really
Like,
bummed.
Yeah. So then obviously our next big like awesome move was when the Knights King, like, so Jon Snow gets in a boat, the Knights King like comes out onto the pier.
He's taken Hardhome.
He's taken Hardhome.
So, and Jon Snow's the last guy on the boat, right?
And he's like, him and Jon Snow basically staring each other down.
Yeah.
And then basically Knights King like raises his like, are you not entertained? Like in a gladiator type way. And I loved it.
He raises his hands like this, not saying a word, just looking straight at Jon Snow, and every dead wildling on the beach, the shores, in the background, they stand up, and it's kind of like the silent moment where, and everyone's in shock. The guys rowing the boat have stopped, and it's just the boat sort of slowly drifting away. These dead wildlings stand up, and it's like he's doubled his army in an instant.
Yeah, and I think that was like the true moment of, yes, you should be afraid. Winter is coming.
We're in trouble,
and we need to send a raven. We need to get back home. We need to raise the alarm. No one's going to believe him, of course, but there is trouble on the street. So
my question around that is, how does Jon Snow rally a really fractured kingdom to come to its own self-defense?
Look, I think
like it's in no state, shape, or form to do that.
I think to answer this question, we're going to have to talk a little bit about like what do we think is going to happen in the last 2 episodes of the season.
Yeah.
So your first natural ally to solve this problem or to address this problem is going to be Stannis, because Stannis already understands that there is a problem and he is on your side. On the flip side, Stannis is on a mission and he needs to go and sort out Winterfell, and the snow's already heavy, so he can't be turning around halfway and coming back. And his army on his own isn't enough. Like you need to rally the kingdom.
So one thing we didn't talk about before we talked about the Battle of Hardhome is the conversation that Stannis had with the Onion Knight and Ramsay and Roose Bolton.
Yes.
So you remember the conversation, if we go to the conversation with Stannis and the Onion Knight, I forget his name. The Onion Knight. The Onion Knight, that'll do. He was saying like, I really don't give a shit whether my guys are dying, the horses are running off, or other way around, horses are dying, guys are running off.
Yeah.
If we don't take Winterfell and get south, we could be stuck here for years, because winter is coming is not just a saying that the Starks use. It's literally coming, and it could take years.
And they refer to like the long night. So like you got to think about this is like months and months of darkness. So you don't want to be stuck at Castle Black. Like what a terrible place to be. Like you want to take Winterfell. Like you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
And so his motivation is get the hell out of the north, so he can take King's Landing. So quell the north. Gather as many soldiers around and bolster his army and get the hell out of there. So he doesn't really. So while you're absolutely right that his natural ally is Stannis because he understands the threat. His motivation is not to stay north.
His other point too was that he didn't want to be the king that like went to Castle Black, then like went to go to the Winterfell, but it was too snowy. Like that, like it's a cowardish type thing. Like and Stannis is he's a man of honor.
Yeah.
And he's on a mission and he's going to sort it out.
Yeah.
So.
He's driven, right?
He's driven. Well, not to mention, this is going back to episode 7, where Melisandre was like, if you want to win this war, we need King's blood. And so... Your daughter. So there's going to have to be some serious like decisions being made about that. But that's probably a whole nother in-depth sort of story.
Look, prediction time. The crunch time with the daughter and Melisandre and Stannis. Next season. That's my prediction. Next season.
So there's one other point before we talk about what we think is going to happen. And so you need to talk about this. So Ramsay Bolton says to his dad, give me your 20 best men and I will go and sort out Stannis.
Absolutely. And to me, when I was watching that episode, I was like, you're dreaming, mate. You're dreaming. 20 guys against Stannis' army. Look, 20 guys against Stannis? Ain't gonna cut it, buddy. But you had this theory which blew my mind, and I have not stopped thinking about it since.
So my theory is, and I haven't read that far in the Dance of Dragons book, so I don't know. I could be making this up, talking out of a hole in my head. Is what if Ramsay goes to Stannis, and he's got like his dad's 20 best men, and he's like, I will help you take Winterfell, and here, like, these are my dad's 20 best men.
Yep.
So we'll sneak in, and I'll get you in. We'll take it from the inside, because, you know, Winterfell's an impenetrable sort of fortress, particularly in the snow. And basically, his conditions will probably be, look, I'm married to Sansa Stark. I want to, like, my terms are, I keep the title Warden of the North.
Yep.
And, like, you need someone to hold the North anyway. You don't want to stay here. You want to move on. And so I think he's taken the 20 best men, because it's really going to leave Roose Bolton with nothing to defend Winterfell properly with.
And this is the thing, absolutely blew my mind. When you were explaining this to me the other day, I was like, holy cow, that makes complete sense. Because Roose Bolton has got a new wife and a new son along the way.
Yeah.
Sansa was sowing the seed like, oh, so you're not going to be Roose Bolton's heir.
That's right.
You know, you're just a legitimised bastard.
Yeah, that's right.
What happens when a natural born heir comes along?
Yeah.
We saw Ramsay was a bit like, he was on the...
He's a bit dark.
Yeah,
He's a bit dark.
A bit of a negatron on that. So when you were telling me like he's taking his 20 best men, he goes out, he negotiates terms with Stannis and says, I'm married to... What's going to unite the North? A Stark in Winterfell.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm married to a Stark in Winterfell. Yeah. Name me Warden of the North. We'll eliminate this threat easily. You can get the hell out of here.
It does a few things as well. Like, now this is purely from a story point of view. It's a great little twist.
Yeah.
And from a production point of view, you actually save yourself a giant battle cost of having to do the Winterfell battle and dragging that out forever, because you could fast track that. Now, my prediction is I think Ramsay's going to die, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's this season, though it might carry on, because it's good to have people you really hate. Yeah. But I equally wouldn't be surprised. So if Ramsay is letting people secretly into the castle, there's going to be a scuffle inside the castle. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Reek or Sansa ends up killing Ramsay.
100% with you.
As part of the process.
100% with you.
Yeah.
The chaos of battle, it's confusing. There's lots going on. We've seen Reek push the edge by Ramsay multiple times. Yeah. So for me, my prediction
Sansa's
is...
breaking him down too. Like, she's breaking... Like,
yeah. You are Theon Greyjoy. Last living heir of Balon.
Oh, right.
Not you, no.
Right.
Not with a puffer jacket like that.
Right. I paid the iron price.
Did you? Oh, did you? Oh,
I just took it because it's the...
Yeah, as long as you paid the iron price,
Yeah.
You are Theon bloody Greyjoy. I think that Theon Reek is going to break mentally and kill Ramsay Bolton in the confusion, in the process, in the chaos of battle, and then. What the hey, you've got Sansa Stark, sole wardeness of the North.
So I think there's two other things at play here. So I think there's one other strong military force which could turn up at Winterfell and help seal the deal. So those are the Knights of the Eyrie. So obviously with Peter Baelish, he went to visit Cersei. He's probably gone back to the Eyrie now, and because most people travel much faster than Arya travels, so they can get around very quickly. He's probably gone back there. He could have rallied those knights, and there was mention earlier in the season, these guys, Knights of the Area, are the most battle-hardened, combat-ready, can fight in all conditions.
I think Peter Baelish said when the Knights of the Eyrie have combined with the Knights of Winterfell, no force that can stop them.
Exactly, and so that is a perfect strategic partnership as well, because he wants to be Warden of the North. I think he would marry Sansa in a heartbeat. That could have happened. Another great ally for Stannis. And I
just going to say it, I think Sansa would be okay with that. Like, I think, when she last saw Peter Baelish, she was like, I suspect that next time I see you, I'll be married. Looking like, girl, you're growing up. Like, you're getting smart, you're quick. And I think, like, maybe you're thinking Peter Baelish isn't that bad.
I think there is one dark thing that could still happen for Sansa.
Right.
What if she has Ramsay Bolton's baby? Like, this is obviously not going to happen in the next 2 episodes, but that is the type of thing that could come to play.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not like I don't like in this like it'll be like more sad, but I think that will, in this scheme of things, easily dealt with.
Yeah.
Like, there's many bigger problems at play here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think in terms of the big picture, I'm loving the theory that you've got around Ramsay betraying his father. Yeah. and letting Stannis in to sort of facilitate basically his quick exit out of a now pacified and united North.
So, we're just going to do some predictions now for, I guess, what are some things we're going to think are going to happen in the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. Now, our predictions are based on book content as well.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read the books and you don't want to partake in this discussion, that's probably a good time to jump out, because
GTFO.
But come back next week.
In a nice way, GTFO. For your own good.
Okay, so you've had your warning.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some major things which I think are going to happen in this last 2 episodes. One, we're going to get to see Lady Stoneheart.
Okay, so I've been doing some digging around this. I'm 100% with you. The rumours.
I've been hanging out for ages, and you know why? Because I want Brienne and Lady Stoneheart to meet up, and because Brienne she's just standing vigil over this Whitehead. She's
sitting on her ass.
She needs a quest. She
needs to get out there and do something, right? She's pretty much sitting on her ass, brooding, looking at Winterfell from a tavern inn window.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it'd be a great, I don't know whether, they'll all have a mini, but that would be a great way to sort of fire up that, because she could equally be another person who could kill Ramsay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And a perfect person.
And chaos of battle, anything's possible.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I think is going to happen this season is we'll probably know about Cersei's walk of shame. Her naked walk of shame if she confesses pre-trial. So I think that's definitely going to happen to sort of move that storyline forward. But we may not solve the Marjorie and Loras one, but I think Cersei's definitely going to get out of that jail in this season.
Look, I think Cersei is, we had a conversation last episode where the High Sparrow was telling Cersei, Cersei was actually asking what could happen to them, and the High Sparrow was saying, look, if they plead the Mother's mercy, could be over very quickly. So if you've read the books, you'll know that Cersei does a walk of shame. That's what it's called. Walk of shame, naked walk of shame from the church back to the keep. Uncle Kevin sort of basically makes sure he greets her at the door and that kind of thing, and that's her sins atoned for.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen this end.
Yeah, definitely.
And make for a great finale.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you. I don't think Marjorie and Loras are going to be resolved this season.
No, because I think there's going to be a big trial, and I think there's too many big battles to deal with.
Yeah. And you know what's going to make it? What would make it more? What would make season 6 more interesting than the Tyrells and the Lannisters breaking their alliance?
Yeah, definitely.
So 100% with you on Cersei doing her walk of shame, and the Tyrells next season.
Any other big predictions?
Yeah. So big prediction. You already called it. Lady Stoneheart, aka Catelyn Stark, who had her throat cut. She is coming back. I'm 80% sure. Bank it. So there's a couple of reasons. IMDb have got her listed in the finale.
Shit, that's virtually confirmed.
As the hooded woman in the finale of season 5.
I like it.
And Lena Headey, who is the actress who plays Cersei Lannister, has you might laugh, but on her Instagram account, I am Lena Headey, has a picture of a stone heart, and people are like
freaking out.
A heart made out of stones, and people are freaking out, going, "What does this mean? What does this mean, Lady Stoneheart? Oh my god!" And you look. First of all, go follow Lena Headey. She actually looks like a really cool woman.
She's an awesome chick.
She's an awesome chick.
Definitely.
She's got funny photos.
Yeah.
So at I am Lena Headey. But at least go have a look at her account, because there's a stone heart, a heart made out of stone, Lady Stoneheart. IMDb, you've got kind of a credit, I guess, for the finale. Yeah. So
I like it.
Buckle in. This season finale.
Yeah.
The best you've seen yet.
So we've got 2 episodes left. We're definitely going to be talking about them. So we've got the penultimate episode happening on Monday. So look out for a video later next week about that episode. And again, we'll probably be talking about more predictions. But that's really been our Game of Thrones debrief. It feels like we've really just repeated to you what's actually happened in the episode. But that's because we're so excited about it.
Look, the thing is, this was the best episode of the season by far, in my opinion. Definitely. Absolutely the best episode of the season. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it or at least watch this episode of us talking about it, because
Definitely.
you need to know what's going to happen, what has happened for the next 2 episodes. So this is our pre-brief.
Exactly.
It's our debrief and our pre-brief. This season is shaping up to be a fantastic ending.
Yeah. So this is a new format of 2-player co-op where we're trying to focus it a bit more on individual things to try and just sort of test the waters on different topics. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter. I'll put up the link below. Make sure you follow Damien at Dealer Grizzle and myself at Daniel_Whiting. And we're 2-player co-op, and we will see you next time.
Catch ya.